back here with the TSR show. We back at it like a crack at it. Got Joe, Big Joe with me. Big Joe, say what's up, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
I'm bad. Let me put my phone.
And Spark's still here, but he's producing the show in the
Yeah,
background.
he in the back.
He's behind
You know
the
what I'm
scenes.
saying? He's like Jamie. You know what I'm saying? For shout out to Joe Rogan. But thank you guys for joining us another week, another episode of the TSR show. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow us at the TSR show on Insta. So what's up, Joe? It's been a while since I seen you. How was your Christmas, dog?
Christmas was good. And that's one thing I was going to ask you guys is at what point in time do you get to the point where you're like more excited about giving gifts than getting gifts? Where you're like, give me some underwear, man. I need a new pair. Whereas you're like, I'm going to get everybody else like everything. Like what age should I get to that? Because I'm 29. And this Christmas, I spent hella money on my girl. And I enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Now,
like, it was cool.
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, what's your question?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What you get your girl?
I got her a UGG blanket, a pair of UGG pajamas, really expensive perfume, a Pandora charm for her bracelet that I got her last year, like a nice little tote bag.
Damn, you got her hella shit.
And then what sucks is her birthday is in January too. So I'm like,
Yeah, you should have just cut those gifts in half.
no, I told her, I said, Christmas is going to be all out, but your birthday, I'm sorry, you're going to.
Just dinner and a movie.
I'm going to get you dinner. I'm going to treat you right.
Yeah,
And you'll get a couple gifts.
Yeah, just-
Small items here and there.
dinner and a movie, and you straight dinner and a movie.
I'll cook it too. I'm a good cook.
Yeah, so that would be like, is that your off the top?
No.
What's your off the top?
What is that off the top? Do you have one?
Yeah, so it's kind of random, but I really don't. So I just, not recently, but I moved into an apartment, right? Mm-hmm. And the street on the apartment that I live in, or the main street, closest main street to the apartment that I live in, a lot of people think that they're from the Fast and Furious and they like to race.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a crash at the intersection to turn into my apartment complex at least once a day. And it's really annoying. Like, I get the idea.
Real quick, do they still go out hella like cars and shit?
What do you mean?
Like they still go out like on Friday and Saturday nights?
I could hear them from my apartment.
Like around what time? What time?
All hours of the night. On the weekends, weekdays,
Friday,
doesn't
Saturday.
matter. You catch a couple cars in that area, and they're ready to race. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Friday, Saturday, you hear them. You can hear them really loud.
I used to always go down there, man. Those days were so fun. But continue.
I get it. Like, I like the appeal, but it's just like, hey, man, have some respect. Have some understanding that not everyone on the street is street racing. You know, not everyone has a nice car. Like, some of us, drive, cheap Toyotas, so.
Hey, those are good. Hey, I'm a Toyota guy.
I'm a
Toyota guy.
So all I'm saying
You know
is,
what I
like, hey, just have some respect for the people out there.
Yes.
Because there's an accident at a specific intersection at least once a week.
Yeah.
And there was one a couple weeks back where a dad, a kid, and a dog were involved. And it was just real tragic and sad, So I guess just, have
Have
respect.
Watch out for them dogs,
There was also that one where that Can-Am hit the kid and
Yeah,
the
the dad.
dad.
They're just walking. They're crossing the
and
street.
he killed the kid.
They're
man.
crossing at a crosswalk, and the kid died, or the dad died.
The kid, but the dad was in like critical condition. Yeah.
So I guess just what I'm trying to say is, have respect for the people on the road.
Yeah.
I understand that if you're in a rush, you got to be somewhere, but at the same token, if you're driving 30 and like the freeway, have respect for the people trying to go somewhere.
It's like Bill, be like Bill Belichick on the road, like
We like to
play
drive
within
at
the
a
rules,
certain
but
speed.
you can skirt it a little bit.
You can make
you
the
can
rules.
skirt the rules a little bit to where you're right in that gray area.
If there's no rule against it, it's not a rule.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So that's my off the top.
I had one.
What is it?
He's got to take a sip of the beer first.
So
The cerveza.
So Christmas just passed, right?
Where it is.
And so I wanted to ask y'all, is there a specific menu that you guys eat on Christmas? And if so, the quick answer that I'm looking for in the first question would be, do you guys also make like the same thing as Thanksgiving?
Yes and no. So like when the holiday season, when Thanksgiving's over, like it's pozole, it's menudo, it's tamales. And then for Christmas dinner itself, we'll get like a ham, mashed potatoes, all that kind of stuff, maybe some red chili.
See, we're opposite, but we're kind of just yeah.
But you also have all the same, the tamales, the pozole, and the menudo for Christmas dinner as well. But it's just like you don't eat other stuff during December. That's all you eat.
Okay, and
throughout.
you?
So
Same.
for Thanksgiving,
You got
we just eat. We don't eat traditional food.
What are you talking about, like Wendy's?
We don't eat like
turkey
turkey
and ham.
and all that shit. Now for Christmas, we eat pozole and tamales usually.
Okay, so obviously for Thanksgiving, my family does the turkey, which is cool. I like turkey. Don't get me wrong, but for many years in past, like we've always done, like not the exact same meal, but it kind of comes off the same meal. Like they'll add extra sides. You know what I'm saying? But it's still turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, corn. So I had the family over for Christmas for the first year at my house, right? And I'm like, yo, but I'm gonna make the menu. And they're like, all right, well, what's the menu? Way before, right? Ray, like a couple weeks ago, I told him, well, we're gonna have carne asada. We're gonna have like
Some shit you have at a cookout.
yeah, like cebollitas, all this other shit. Everybody's like, man, that shit. We still had menudo, but we had like frijoles charros and all this other shit, right?
Let me guess, they were hating on it.
And everybody, no, well, before they're like, really, dog? It's Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so y'all can come. It's at my house, and this is what I'm gonna have, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want, right? So everybody's just fighting me, like for like 2 weeks, right? My mom's calling me, like, really? That's all you're gonna have? And I'm like, all right, finally. If y'all want to make the turkey, go make the damn turkey. But I just didn't want to eat the same Thanksgiving. It's cool. Finally, now just do what you were gonna do. All right, cool. So Christmas comes around. I cook my shit, right? Everybody at the end like, dawg, that shit was good. Like, we had some tacos and fucking frijol. Like, everything was gone. And it's just like, on Christmas, I come to find out it's just like, on the holidays, make what you make what you want to make. Like, just enjoy your family. It's more about the family and being together. You know what I mean? About being together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be blessed you got food to make. You feel me? That's my off the top.
I do now.
All right. Well, with that being said, big news in the NFL this week. John Madden passed away.
The GOAT.
So what I want to ask you guys is, and I know I heard your take off camera, young heck, is John Madden on the Mount Rushmore of the NFL? I'll let Heck go first.
To me, I don't put him on a Mount Rushmore. To me, now this is not going to be appealing to everybody, but John Madden to me is football. Like that, he was as a broadcaster, because that's how I knew him as a broadcaster. He made watching the game fun. And to the point where not only did he explain it and give you knowledge, but it was so entertaining that you watched the game in its entirety. Like, you didn't get out of your seat. Because he just, even if it just cuts to the players on the sidelines, he's telling a story, he's cracking jokes, but also teaching you how they're running plays and what they're doing here in a matter of making it entertaining, but also learning from it and how he used to draw it. So to me, John Madden is like on the Mount Everest. He's like in his own thing. He is football to me. Rest in peace to the GOAT. They just released that Madden film, that documentary, which is kind of weird to me. Real quick, it's kind of weird because like
The timing.
like the timing was weird, right? So it's like they did that film. It was almost like a praise to Madden, and he saw it obviously, and like passes away shortly after. Well, like in Stan Lee, when they made Marvel Endgame, he saw the final cut, and he I think it was like a week later he passed away. So it makes me kind of think of like just on a spiritual level, like they wanted to see their self and their greatness as well, and also sharing it to the world. and they were happy. You know what I mean? So rest in peace to John Madden, man.
What you think, Joe?
In terms of Mount Rushmore, yeah, I would say he has to be on there just because if you're from my generation, you've heard of Madden from seeing him in football movies such as The Replacements, which was my first exposure to him. That movie got me into watching the NFL, and you see him and Pat Summerall in that movie. The game Madden, like it taught us how to play the game, like or
Ask Madden.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
You know,
That was
they need to bring that back. Now
Yeah.
it's just coach suggestions, but they need to bring that the Ask Madden back.
So I would say yeah, just
The
because
light showing is what I'm trying to get to right now.
Oh, okay.
you could pull up any coach, but I don't know if any coach has had the impact that Madden had. You're not watching the game. It pains me to say as a Steelers fan to see Chuck Noll. You're watching the game as a kid because you played Madden. And you're like, I want to go watch the game. I want to see whatever team is my favorite team. So yeah, I would have to put him on that Mount Rushmore. And not only that, but the fact that he was a Hall of Fame coach, he's a Hall of Fame player and a broadcaster, right? Like
Yeah.
the guy, like what can't the guy do?
So that's the thing. Everybody forgets about him as a coach. He has the highest winning percentage of anybody as a coach. To me, John Madden is the best coach who didn't do it for a long time.
I was going to ask you why.
like the Barry Sanders of coaching.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
sure it's in the documentary, but I heard he only coached for like 10, 12 years.
He coached for 10 years.
Why? Why just
it,
that?
It was just time was up. Time was up, and he won. Like I said, he won at a clip. It was 75%. He won 75% of his games in his career.
Yeah.
That's equivalent to going 12-4 each year. And he made the AFC title game 7 times out of 10.
12 and 4 or 12 and 5?
12-4.
Well, it'd be 12 and 5, 17 game season.
So it'd be 13.
I'm talking, I'm
Yeah,
talking,
16. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Hey, now we got to recreate that set starting now. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of people forget about him as a coach, smoking on the sidelines, smoking cigarettes while coaching.
It was wild back in the day.
Yeah.
I wish they would bring some of that shit back, to be honest. Like, let coaches be themselves, man. Like I like how certain coaches, like before Dan Campbell became a head coach, he used to, like when he was just a tight ends coach, I would love it because he'd be on the sidelines, just big old dip, right in his mouth, just boom, talking to these dudes, like, just being. But now that he's head coach, he don't have it in or whatever. But yeah, like I agree with he just did so much for football.
He just brought so much fans to the game.
And then going into his calling the games, that dude he's it.
Yeah.
He was it. Like we look at Tony Romo now and like these other guys, and it's like I love Tony Romo. I think he's good. But compare them to John Madden and some of these guys now, like even John Gruden when he was calling games, ain't no John Madden. And then when it comes to the game, bruh, like the game, he started the game originally. It was gonna be 7-on-7. It was gonna be 7-on-7, and he wanted to be it's got to be 11-on-11.
Oh, Madden?
Madden,
Yeah, okay.
the Madden game. So I think it's only fair that next year's cover,
It's got to be Madden.
it's got to be John Madden on the cover, don't you think?
With the cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
They won't do that.
Yeah, it's got to be with the cigar in the mouth.
They won't do that.
No, I agree.
Or the famous picture of him getting carried off the field.
Yeah.
Either
And-
one of those.
And he low key was a big part of the decision making in the NFL.
Boy, and then
He was like a consigliere to like rule changes and shit like that.
Yeah, and the thing with, and also not only Madden, but if you talk even in the video game sense, there's no other football games than Madden. You have a couple NBA games. You still got MLB The Show that is kind of the same thing, but there's still like little branches of the sport. But like when it comes to football, it's like you're
But
not
that
playing.
was the game.
Yeah,
That
it's
was the
Madden.
game.
It's
Like-
Madden.
Like that was
That and NCAA. But
no. No, Madden has always been the most popular sports game. I think 2K is a better game, but it's not as big and will never be as big
As
what
Madden.
Madden is.
What do you guys think about Madden as the game?
I think it's gotten whack.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, like, how do you guys
But I
feel?
haven't played it in a couple years.
I bought the Antonio Brown. I bought the game like 3 years in a row. One time, there's the Antonio Brown cover, the Tom Brady cover, and maybe the OBJ. I don't remember which one was before them, but the game felt like the same game 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I guess like people that buy the game today say it's been the same thing as it was 4 years ago. So does it ever
Yes.
make you feel as though like they're kind of like
Jipping you.
disrespecting Madden, like the name of Madden?
Not putting in the
Not-
effort to create
Yeah.
something huge.
Well, at that point,
Because the game is kind of like a sellout game
so
now.
when it
you know?
first started, he had a big input on the game. But as time went on, he got older, and he was just the name of the game.
You still got to respect the legacy, though.
Right. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys remember, but there used to be all Madden teams when he was
Yeah.
Mhm.
broadcasting. And then there's the playing level. You remember the difficulty level
Those
on
on
Madden? Are you playing in rookie, pro, all pro, or all Madden? Another thing I think they should probably do is how there's like the all pro, like first team all
Yeah.
pro, second
Yeah.
team all pro. What y'all think about changing that to all Madden teams?
That'd be dope.
You know
I
what
think
I'm
that'd be dope instead of all pros.
saying? Yeah,
Or even just get rid of the Pro Bowl and just call it the Madden Bowl. Like you
there's something like that.
know what I'm saying? Honor him.
Yeah.
Why don't you call the Super Bowl the Madden Bowl?
Packers
Because
fans
you're
will throw a
holding the
fit.
Lombardi Trophy.
Packers fans will throw a fit.
You know what I mean? You're not holding the Super Bowl trophy. It's the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like in MLB, it's the Commissioner's Trophy.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no title to it. It's just
Yeah.
It's the Lombardi Trophy.
That's what I said.
Yeah, and then
I
in the
guess I was
NBA
distracted.
it's the
Like, would it, like, right? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Super Bowl, I don't know, the Super Bowl sounds dope, though. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, my team won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Hello, my team won this Madden Bowl. Like, you mean like the Madden?
Yeah.
On PS5 or?
Yeah.
Or
Sorry. Yes.
you an Xbox dude?
You got crossplay?
Yeah. But anyways, R.I.P. John Madden, the GOAT.
They need to get John Gruden input on the game.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to talk to you guys about the front runner right now for Defensive Player of the Year.
All right,
I'm
talk to
going
me.
to bring some context to this. So right now, the betting favorite to win the Defensive Player of the Year is actually tied. Do you guys know who it's between the two leaders?
T.J. Watt and
Micah
Micah Parsons.
That is correct. Micah Parsons and T.J. Watt are both at plus 200, with Aaron Donald right behind at plus 800.
Nah, the pinche Aaron Donald.
He gets by just his
Miles
name.
Garrett and Trayvon Diggs. Now, let's narrow in and focus in on the two favorites.
Right,
now,
obviously,
Which
yeah.
it looks like it's a dead heat right now. And
I don't get it, but all right.
Okay, so I will go down. TJ Watt has 17 and a half sacks, 31 quarterback hits, 17 tackles for losses. Okay. Micah Parsons, on the other hand, he has 13 sacks, 29 quarterback hits, and 18 tackles for losses. So obviously, TJ Watt is.
What's the
I'm going to pull up the pressures as soon as I can while you guys talk. But those are the stats. Stats ain't everything. You guys, the reason why I bring this up is one guy is very familiar with
I'm a guy.
T.J. Watt, and the other guy is very familiar with Micah Parsons.
I already
what
got
I
him
want-
stumped in this
So
one.
what I want right now is I want you guys to make the case for the other guy on why you think the other guy should not win it, but maybe might have a better case for the other guy.
So you want me to like go for T.J. Watt?
Not go for TJ Watt. Tell me why he might have
An
a
edge.
better advantage at winning this award compared to TJ Watt.
That's
Or
it.
compared to Michael
Michael.
Parsons.
That's
Hector, I'll let
interesting.
you go first.
He has more sacks.
Okay. I like
He has more
that.
sacks.
What about you?
I think the only way that Micah Parsons will win this over TJ Watt is because he's played a full season.
I like
Unfortunately, Heck said it earlier off camera, the best ability is availability, and TJ Watt's missed 2 games. I feel like every other game he's missing half the game. He's on the sideline. The guy's made of glass. But I don't know. Micah Parsons, yeah. To me, it was either those two. Like in years past, people gave it to Aaron Donald whether he earned it or not. Like, and you give it to him based on name alone.
Right.
He didn't beat out TJ Watt in terms of sacks. It wasn't even close in terms of pressure percentage or anything like that. Everyone always said, well, he's getting double teamed. TJ Watt's getting double teamed. The only other person on that line that's worth a shit is Cam Hayward. You know, Micah Parsons plays.
He's more of a run stuffer.
Yeah, but Micah Parsons plays in multiple positions. He's making plays all over the field.
So he's the more Michael Parsons is more of how would you say this?
He's good in every.
If we were put it into NBA roles, Michael Parsons can guard 1 through 5, as where TJ Watt could only guard the perimeter but can't guard the interior.
I would probably
Is that
put
kind
it.
of what you're saying?
I'd put it in more of like baseball terms. TJ Watt's a pitcher, whereas Micah Parsons could play any of the infield and some of the outfield.
He's Jose Fernandez. He can pitch and hit home runs. You know what I mean? Like,
Shohei Ohtani?
yeah.
Shohei Ohtani.
Well, and the thing with TJ though, you really see a dip though when he's not in the game.
Yeah.
As far
I
as the Steelers defense now, when it comes to Micah, he does have talent around him where it kind of makes him doing his own job, whatever the case may be.
Like
If he's rushing,
pressure.
because he has to focus on one thing. He has trust around him. Whereas TJ, he doesn't necessarily have that trust a whole lot within his defense. Where maybe he feels like he has to do more, but then his body is failing him too.
That's so sad, man. Because honestly, I think he probably could be the best.
Remember, you got to go for Micah, dog. Like, hey, I'm
already said.
rooting for TJ now.
No, so
kidding.
now I want you guys to give me the best case for Michael Parsons.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I wanna
him,
hear
Micah,
from-
me,
I
TJ.
want to
Yeah.
hear from you.
Okay.
Go ahead with TJ.
I think the only way
Now I'm ready to debate. You
I
know what I mean? Like-
the only way TJ is going to win this award is if he breaks the sack record.
And what's the record?
22.
He ain't gonna break that.
I don't know, man.
Not in 2 games?
Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson like to get sacked.
So, but you think he'll get 5 in 2 games?
Yeah.
I don't think
He
so.
got 2 against Rodgers.
You think he'll finish both games?
Maybe. But all I'm saying is he like
You think he'll get 5 in next 2 games before quarters?
I think he could get 5 against Baker Mayfield.
Nah.
What are you talking about? But that's what TJ Watt has to do. Either tie the sack record, get over 20, but have he's got to finish the season healthy. Like he's got to play like you said, the next 4 quarters, and he's got to make an impact.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Micah's going to win this because, and I hate to say it, 'cause, you know, I would love for TJ to win, but I mean Micah's killing it. He's killing it in both positions. People like to say, well, I'll let you talk about it.
Well, the thing with Micah is that
I was about
As
to
far
just,
as-
make your case for you. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
as far as stats goes, like TJ Watt, yeah, he has a little bit of better numbers, but he only has like the one thing he has to do. He has to strictly just rush the passer. That's
goes
his
into coverage.
positions. Well, no, he does, but his 90% of his snaps are in one position. Whereas Micah has been moved around, but more so in games is what I'm saying in TJ Watt. In each game, the majority of the game, he's rushing the passer.
That's fair.
That's his job. But in Micah, there's been games throughout the season where he just rushes the passers. Oh, now he's got to go play linebacker for this whole game. And so as far as snap-wise, I bet you if you compare the snaps as far as rushing the passer in actual position to each other, Micah has way less snaps than TJ Watt, but such close numbers as far as sacks and pressures.
I think that actually hurts Micah that he plays in both positions.
But I don't think necessarily. I'm not gonna say that he's just a ball
real
player.
Quick, TJ Watt has 42 pressures. It might have changed this week, but maybe not really. This was going into not this week.
Going
into before this week. TJ Watt had 42 pressures and Micah Parsons had 57.
He's blitzing up the middle.
Um,
I think you'd have to get so that's where it's problematic.
now, do the Cowboys blitz a lot?
Well, they blitzed this last game, but they actually don't blitz a whole lot. The majority of
I
their
don't think
time.
Dan Quinn blitzes a lot, dude.
No,
Well, hold on.
majority
Pittsburgh does.
What counts as a blitz though? Technically,
5 or
'Cause
more.
If you're rushing 4, you have one of your D linemen peel back. Micah Parsons runs up the
A
middle.
blitz to me is when you're rushing more than 4. So
Okay.
five or more.
Yeah,
So
I
they
say
can
5
have
or more.
4 on the line. One pulls back, Micah runs down the middle, or chases down the QB. He could be the QB spy. So that's where it gets kind of hard to compare.
That's
It's
more of a
nitpicking.
stunt than a blitz.
It's nitpicking.
Yeah, because it's like, well, he's hit, and that's why, like, honestly, if TJ Watt lost to Micah, I'd be okay with it because that's fucking close. Excuse my language, guys. That's
No,
close.
that's good.
In years past, like he lost to Aaron Donald, and the numbers weren't even close. Donald won on
Didn't
name
TJ
alone.
Watt win it last year?
No, he got snuffed 2 years in a row because of Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald didn't have better stats in any of those years,
Okay, but that's where stats sometimes lie.
which is why I'm okay with Micah Parsons getting it over TJ, because Micah has not only been an impact on the line, he's an impact on the middle of the field.
He has an impact on that defense, I think, in
Yeah.
my sense, that it is greater than TJ Watt, but also has more talent around him than
Do we
TJ
think
Watt.
that Micah Parsons is a more versatile defender?
Yeah,
than
I think he's
TJ
just
Watt?
a pure defender, dog.
Yeah, like he said earlier, he's just a ball player.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he can actually. He played a little bit of corner, like where he was covering the slot. I think 2 games ago, and he kept up, got the pass deflected, and it was in the red zone. So he has the speed, and
Now, there's also a stat for win rate, which I can't find that, but the win rate, and that's where none of these guys are at the top of the list when it comes to win rate. But I do find it interesting that TJ Watt has 17 and a half sacks in such little games played. That's the one argument you have for TJ Watt, that he's accumulating these stats. I haven't. When's the last time a player got 17 sacks? I'll look it up.
And let me just tell you guys, Steelers, Blitzburg, they get sacks. I was telling Heck, I think like
Blitzburg.
the past 3 years, I know for a fact they led the league in sacks.
yeah,
I think it was the last 4.
Them as a scheme in general get a lot of sacks.
But if you look at the past 4 years, I think the 4 best sack leaders in terms of Steelers years, TJ Watt's got 2 of them.
like the thing is with Micah though too, he is also a rookie.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is-
and I don't think that's anything to shy away from, because he didn't play that the year before the draft. That year of the draft, he didn't play.
Yeah. COVID year, right?
I believe so. No, it was.
Pretty sure he opted
Oh yeah,
out
it
for
was.
COVID,
Yeah, he opted out, and he didn't play. So to come in and have this impact, that's where I'm real impressed with Micah, because I thought early on in the season he was gonna kind of hit a wall around the 12, 13 game mark,
Yeah.
usually for college players, and also not playing there. But he hasn't hit that yet. So to me, he's just a ball player. Like, he just knows how to play ball.
I wish they would just have him rush the passer though.
Okay, so
No. I like what they're doing with him.
Okay, so
'Cause we have a great front four.
Speaking of TJ Watt and the Steelers, they just played the Kansas City Chiefs,
Did they play?
and the Chiefs drubbed them. Now, here's one take I want to give you guys about my assessment on this. A little quick assessment. What I think about this is first of all, there was a bunch of players missing from the Chiefs. Like Kelsey didn't play. Is this more of an Andy Reid product, scheming the players to where Patrick Mahomes, in a way, enhances the Andy Reid playbook? or is this just the Patrick Mahomes show and we're just forgetting about Andy Reid?
Real quick though, I need you to see how much players are missing on each team.
Okay.
Because I think the Chiefs only had like 5 guys missing, Kelsey being one of them. Steelers also had 4 guys on COVID list, 1 guy on concussion protocol.
Okay. So
we're not. I believe.
on defense?
No, just in general.
Okay. What's missing?
Excuse me.
On defense,
Or just the players you were missing in general?
we're missing a couple depth guys, and the guy I really want to highlight because the offense needs to run through him. And
I know you're missing Juju.
I'm not going to talk. If he haven't played with in 2 weeks, I'm not going to mention them. I'm not going to bring up Zach Banners to it or any of
Chase
those guys.
Claypool.
No,
I wanted to ask him about that.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk about Claypool. I got a scathing remarks about him, but I'm talking about Pat Fryermuth, our second round pick from this year's draft.
He didn't play?
He had a concussion, so he didn't play. Now I don't think that him playing makes it not an ass whooping. Like that's not what I'm saying. But I think this was Andy Reid being Andy Reid. To answer your question,
Loudermilk? What his name is that?
Isaiah, he's a depth piece, interior D tackle guy.
The last name is Loudermilk.
That's what I said.
What is it?
What is it?
Loudermilk.
Louder milk?
Yeah,
Like it even has the K?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's not even mill.
Be louder. Hey, be louder milk.
Louder.
Louder milk. Yeah.
What's his first name?
Isaiah.
No, she got that Loudermilk.
Hey,
Dang.
you been with that louder milk?
So
What that louder milk be?
obviously that doesn't change anything from being an ass whooping. And the Steelers sold out to stop Tyreek Hill. And Andy Reid did everything possible to make everybody else available. To my knowledge, I don't think they really killed us that much in the running game. And this is one of the things that I wanted to see from Mahomes. You know, can he do it when you take away Tyreek Hill and Kelsey's not available? Can you still do it? You know, yes, he did.
Yeah.
I can make all the excuses in the world. Oh yeah, no, he did it. Okay, so I got nothing bad to say about that guy,
Who?
Mahomes.
Kermit?
Yeah, I will say that guy's brother and his wife, I got no respect for. But
I
got
heard
no-
about the brother in the restaurant, but what happened to the wife?
So
Wait, what happened with the brother?
We'll get to it.
supposedly, she's just real loud. Is all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
She's just real loud, and she's like, you could tell like he's just not happy. Like they posted a video one time. They're at a restaurant. He's sitting there like during like the stretch when they weren't doing too good. And her and his brother are having a good time on TikTok, and they're like, "Come on, get in the video." And he's just like, "What are we doing?" But supposedly, I read a story a couple of years back when they played against the Patriots, where she said a Patriots fan was being rude to her and cussed her out. What people in the stadium said that needs to be mentioned is that supposedly she was dumping beers on people, and then when they started acting up towards her, she cried and complained about it. So I don't know. You got anything on that? Do you want to talk about the brother?
Wait. Say that about the girlfriend again. What did the Patriots fan say?
She's just real loud. So she was talking mad trash to Patriots fans, talking mad trash to the organization, saying that the whole fan base is terrible because she was being harassed by the Patriots fans. She was saying like they're just evil people, they're bad. And what really happened was apparently she was like pouring beers on people or being real loose with her beer and got beer on someone. And said, "Hey, watch out." And she said, "I don't need to watch out. Mahomes is my husband or my boyfriend at the time."
And that's one of the things that the brother did.
Now that's also allegedly.
That's one of the things that the brother was. It's been documented. He was going to go out to a restaurant. The brother's gay. I don't know if you know that.
He went to a bar.
Went to a bar. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And he wanted to be sat with like a bunch of people.
He had like 53 people, and the restaurant's bar only had 23 seats or something like
Yeah,
that.
and they wouldn't sit them, and he basically felt entitled.
He tried to like destroy the bar on social media by saying this bar's trash, give him a terrible review, getting his social media following to bury the bar.
Yeah. But the restaurant came back and dissed him. Like it was like one of those like they roasted him without like
Saying like,
respectfully,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
respectfully, but
With
like,
all due respect.
yeah, like damn, they said that, They basically said like it was basically like you're only famous because of your brother.
They said if being born into a good family was a talent, then you'd have the best talent or something like that.
Yeah,
like they
basically,
just
like,
killed him, dude.
It was basically one of those like
Fuck you.
But
yeah,
they didn't
like,
say it.
you're
But
only famous because of your brother, and this was in Kansas City.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
So it's not like they went to another stadium or whatever.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's respect.
5 more
But
minute talk.
yeah,
Until battery replacement.
okay. That's just like respect in general, though.
Right.
Obviously, they're gonna feel some sense of entitlement, but at the end of the day, that's up to Mahomes to settle that shit.
That's
If
what
that's
I'm
what's
saying.
going on, like Mahomes needs to handle that shit, and it sucks because
Kermit.
yeah, it sucks because he isn't like he's working right now. He's in the middle of the
Yeah, it's
very.
not, it's not up to
He's
him.
in the
Yeah,
office. you know?
no. But but in a sense, it is though. To go out like that, especially in town. Like I could see his brother doing that shit like in New York, but you're in Kansas City, where people like adore you and all this other shit. But for them to like, you don't want them to hate your family though too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and one of the things that's crazy is during his stretch when he wasn't doing too good, his brother was basically doing a juju on the field and TikToking on the field before every game. But every game that he did that or that the brother was there at, Mahomes just played like trash. So then,
That's a little bit too far there.
yeah, I guess.
It's like his whole dancing shit. Like
I think it's a
people
curse.
get bothered by that. I honestly, that's where America becomes too sensitive.
Yeah.
They hate the brother because he dances and he does all this shit. Like honestly, like the only thing that's like whack about him was that restaurant shit.
He was dancing on Sean Taylor's number.
That was kind of
Did you see that?
whack too. Yeah.
For Washington football team, they're honoring Sean Taylor, and he claims that the Washington football team put him in there, but they have like a nice sectioned off area with Sean Taylor's number. And this is where like they say that this started, him TikToking on the field and Mahomes sucking, was he was like dancing, doing a stupid TikTok dance on Sean Taylor's honored number.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, and everyone
but
just hated him for it.
Anyways, enough about that. We're gonna go to commercials real quick. We need a battery replacement, and we'll be right back. We back at it like a meth addict. So now let's talk about the Cowboys blowout against the football team, the Washington Redskins.
Okay.
I just want your quick take on that. Complete game heck. Dak Prescott finally came out. The offense came out. Zeke was eating.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the defense has been eating.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
talk to us a little bit about the game and what's in store in the foreseeable future for the Cowboys. Is a number one seed on the horizon?
Is this actually their year? One would ask.
So I'm not. Look, I've been saying it for weeks now. You gotta. I wanted to see the last 3 games going into the playoffs because it was almost like a guarantee that we were gonna go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's more so how are you playing heading into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Now,
This is a good test coming up.
yeah, this is a real good test coming
Who
up.
guys
Now, the only thing that's gonna piss me off about this test is that if they win convincingly, people are gonna be like, "Well, it's just the Cardinals. They've been on this little slump." So you're not gonna give the credit to Cobb. Maybe we didn't think
But stop worrying about
right. Okay, right. But here's the thing. This is a good test. Now, I want that. What I want to see is more. Are they gonna win convincingly? Now that doesn't mean a blowout. This blowout, don't get me wrong. It was
I just passed the eye test.
no, yeah. For me, it's do you have control of the game? Are you the one in control of the game? You know, like are you doing what you want to do? Yes, it's not going to be perfect all the time.
Is Greg Zerline gonna make it?
Yeah, say way, bro. Like every time he steps on the field, I get up.
get
Like I don't even want to know if there's a 6 in our score. I'll know. Like you know what I mean? But like for me, I'm not gonna lie. It was fun watching this game because at the end of the day, it's still a division rival. Say what you want to say about Washington football team. Divisional games. Look at the Saints and the Bucks. The Saints just got beat by the Dolphins. And look, they're on their winning streak, but they didn't really play nobody right now. Like you should have beat them with that defense. But
And the Eagles, you guys still play the Eagles, right?
we still play the Eagles to end it off and the
That's
Cardinals.
gonna be a tough game too.
Mm-hmm. especially because the Eagles are still fighting for a wild card
Yes,
spot.
yes.
Or you know, a last spot, and it is a divisional game. They always, and not only that, it's in Philly. They ain't gonna, they don't play us light in Philly. I think going into the playoffs, all things considered, 1 seed or 2 seed, I will say this: I can't say that they're gonna like go ahead and like blaze through the playoffs. But number one, their defense is good enough, which we'll talk after Joe talks about that defense. But I think this team is gonna have the healthiest and most talented team in the NFC going into this playoffs.
I think all I need to see from Dallas to be convinced by them is to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't need to see, even if they win ugly, they just need to win because they got
Real quick though, they're on a 4-game winning streak.
sure. And if they go on a 6-game, that's all I need to see because you're winning against teams that are playoff caliber as of now. You know, the Eagles could make the playoffs. As of right now, they're in the playoffs. They're not right now, but like they're in their mindset, they need to win to make playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs already started for them.
So here's my thing. Like I said, like I tell Heck, it's not about stacking. You have to win, right? Obviously, winning matters. But within wins and L's, sometimes, like I said, stacking wins overshadows the actual eye test. Same with the L's. Sometimes an L, you just like it's an absolute 0 when you could actually pass the eye test in a loss.
Right.
So the thing with the Cowboys right now is, let's you're Joe. You're saying you're in a wait and see mode, I guess, right?
No, not necessarily.
Well,
like,
you just made the comment. What did you say? You were like
to be convinced by.
you're not convinced by them.
I'm not, but also on the other side of that coin, I'm not convinced by anybody. No one has convinced me so far.
Right, as a whole.
As a whole.
Here's
Not
what
a
I am
single
convinced.
team.
Here's what I am convinced by when it comes to specifically the Cowboys. I am convinced that they have a solid defense.
Yes.
And a solid defense will travel as opposed to an offense. I could live with the offense being sporadic, but as long as the defense is there, I am fine with that, and I feel like that's why maybe the Cowboys this year could be a different outcome.
Yeah.
Now, remember, the playoffs is all about matchups at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's all about matchups. And no matter how strong your unit is, it's going to come down to a specific matchup that these coaches are mean. Coaches are mean, and they are going to expose the flaws that other teams are not exposing when it comes to in the playoffs. But I do believe that the Cowboys have a solid defense, and when the playoffs come, that will be highlighted and true.
Yeah.
It happens every year. You know,
Yeah.
the flaws will be exposed, and the much better unit will come into fruition. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys get eliminated in a stalemate where the defense is playing good and the offense didn't come to show up. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys make a deep run due to the defense being the more impactful unit as opposed to the offense.
I think, okay, so the real quick thing, the thing I've been saying, and it's hard for me to like talk about it, but you also want to like defend it in a way, is that I've always said that let's see the last 3 games. Now I really want to see against Arizona, so I don't want to speak prematurely, but in a hypothetical world, right? Because now we're kind of speaking in hypotheticals. We're talking about things that haven't happened yet. We don't know matchups. We don't know seeding. We don't know how the game is going to go, who's going in healthy or whatnot. But all things considered at this moment, we're going to say that the Cowboys going into the playoffs out of every NFC team is the healthiest and probably the best on both sides of the ball right now. Because let me talk about this. Every team this year, and this is why we talk about there is no clear-cut favorite. That's why we don't have a clear-cut favorite. Every team has faced adversity throughout this year. everything has been fair this year. Now, in every year in football, and the thing that we love about football is even every great team throughout the season, there's levels throughout the season that teams flutter. You know, everybody wants to have a perfect season. And that's like what's going to make us a clear-cut favorite. But in the NFL, that's not going to happen. You're going to have losses against really bad teams that you should have won, and then you're going to have some wins against some teams that should have beat you, right? The Cowboys right now, I think, have faced their adversity in the middle point of the season, which is like still good in a way because it's right before the playoffs. You still had enough time to prep and fine-tune things that you needed to going into the playoffs, right? Whereas like the Arizona Cardinals, they stayed hot for a long time. Now they're starting to have problems going into the playoffs, and that's not a good thing,
because
right?
you want to be peaking at the end.
And you want to be peaking at the end. So for me, when you look at the Cowboys in the first half of this season, we talked about that offense. The question was, is this defense going to hold up? They're making some mistakes. They're not getting their reads. They're not playing as a unit, but they're making some plays, right? Now, the offense after the bye week hit a slump, but the defense was starting to kind of, hey man, they're holding opponents to, they're not like getting beat, they're not getting blown out, they have opportunities to win. What is wrong with this offense? Now, what we saw in this last game, no matter what Washington football team is, the Cowboys scored 56 points, and in all phases of the game. Now, I feel like they can do that because I've seen it before earlier in the season. This just seems like a different Cowboys team since the beginning of the year, right? Now, they went through with their injuries. They faced their COVID protocols. If they can continue and play like this, now it doesn't have to be a blowout every game, but are you in control of your game? And are you in control of what you're doing, right? If they can continue going into the playoffs, they can make a deep run.
Well, that's what I was saying. All I need to see to be convinced by them is just to win. Like, I don't need to see blowouts. I don't need to see double-digit wins.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these
You
are
need to get a
teams. I got you. These are teams that the Cowboys should win against. You know, no D-Hop with the Cardinals. You should win this game. Now, I don't need you to see to blow them out. I need the defense to hold up, keep the game nice and little, and if the offense shows up and shows out, that's fine. You know, for me, with the Cowboys, what's going to hold them back is obviously, we talk about it all the time. The coaching can potentially hold them back, and I mean, it's weird to say, but the offense, like I was telling, well, he's not right here, but I was telling Heck earlier, if I would have told you at the beginning of the season that towards the end of the year, the better side of the football for the Cowboys is going to be the defense and not the offense, you would have not believed it. And that's kind of what I just need to see from this team is, you know, maybe a consistent showing from the offense, and then defense just needs to continue to hold up. I do think that the Cardinals are not the team that they were at the but you still got to beat them. Just because we think or just because I think they're not the team who I thought they were, that doesn't belittle the win. You still got to beat them. You still got to show up and show out. You know, I think that the Eagles will be a bigger challenge.
You think the Eagles will be a bigger challenge?
Yeah, because the Eagles are kind of turning it up right now.
Like 5 endings up.
Sorry.
You don't like the
That's
end
all
of
I
the
had.
bread?
That's fine. That's why you don't like the ending?
I do. It's just like, where did we all? I thought there was only 2 endings for bread.
I know, but we buy the 2-pack of breads, so then we put the ends at the end. You know, you still go through the middle of the loaf. You know? No, but the thing is we're talking about the NFC and we're talking about the Cowboys. Like I said, if they continue on, but it's hard for me to talk like that.
Yeah.
Because I still need to see next 2 games. You got to finish the season. A major injury could happen. COVID could happen again. A number of things, and that's why we love football. Because
Any given
Sunday, any given week when it comes to football, anything could happen. But if things were to start right now, I have confidence in this Cowboys team because you know what? That defense has held their opponents for 20 points or less in a 4-game stretch and also 6 in the last 7 games. And that's including the Chiefs, that's including the Saints, and that's the Saints the week before they went up to Tampa and did what they did. And that's even including Washington football team, who was on a nice winning streak. Regardless of the situation, at the end of the day, it's hard to win games in this league. And to win like that is even harder. Like, you mollywopped them. In the first half to say, all right, I'm going to head out. In the first half. This was, real quick, this was one of those games. This was seriously one of those games where it's either a boost or a bust. And that's why I'm hesitant. Was this game the game that boosted your confidence again and was like, hey, offense, we're clicking, defense, like, let's go. Let's go. And let's make this run. Right? Was that the spark you needed? Or is this a bust? Was this the Falcons game where you had
From
control of
last year?
that game? No, this year. Where you had control of that game and then you went on another 4 or 5 game stretch where it's like, wait, now your offense isn't working anymore. So that's why I'm really excited for Sunday.
Yeah.
So in the past 6 years, there's a common denominator. The team that wins the Super Bowl, I don't know if you guys are big on point differential. I don't know if you guys are aware of or keep an eye on point differential. As Hector walks away.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
In the past 5 years or 6 years, every team that's in the top 5 of point differential
Excuse me.
has won not every team. You have to be top 5 in point differential if you're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
In the past 6 years. The top 5 teams this year in point differential: Buffalo, Dallas, Tampa Bay, New England, Kansas City.
So
If that trend continues, one of those teams is going to win the Super Bowl.
let me just say that when the draft happens, I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm calling up receipts. I predicted the Bucks Patriots Super Bowl. So if that happens,
The Patriots aren't going. I think they have something brewing, but I don't think
too early.
Yeah, I don't think the mix is ready yet. Also, against with this
I would
defense,
not be surprised if the Patriots go to the Super Bowl.
Bill Belichick knows how to shut people down.
Look, when the Patriots are good,
Why are you getting closer to the
no,
camera?
I'm just saying, when the Patriots are good, they're the fucking team you need to go through. They're the fucking class of the.
so you're saying it's about Belichick.
Belichick, just the Patriots in general, when they are good, when that team is good, just
Be careful.
they're the fucking team to go through.
That's part of the reason why.
And who beat the Patriots?
Huh?
The Cowboys in overtime.
Okay, I'm talking about it.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Okay.
saying. No, real quick.
That's-
What I wanted to say about this defense, though,
that's
too.
also like old Patriots.
Yeah. No. Right after that game, they went on their stretch. So if anything, that
What
game
week
was. This was what, week 10? Week 10,
know.
What
right
I'm
before
saying-
the Chiefs.
What I'm saying is, it's like saying
Week
that's
8.
like saying you were talking about the Cardinals, how they were doing so good and now they're not. It's a different ball game when Belichick gets a hold of game planning for you in
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a
He's a been there, done that kind of guy.
you're over there in the NFC.
You don't
Yeah.
got to worry about him until the final.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like, hey, you see Mahomes in that Super Bowl? You see what I did? Do you see what I... No, but also this defense, though, too, is
Which defense?
Cowboys defense. They have a 95.8% like
Matt
win.
Brady?
No, win
Matt.
rate. No, win rate on... I mean, talk about first on third down conversions. On third down percentage, I'm sorry.
Stop.
Like, it's stopping the third down. They're first in that. First in turnovers. And those are things that travel. The third down percentage is the biggest stat for me.
Except on Thursdays.
Can I ask you
except for on Thanksgiving.
can I ask you a question that everyone asked me last year when the Steelers were number one in all those categories? Because they almost
Oh
had
yeah, they were.
They-
They were undefeated. I forgot.
they had a triple crown last year. They tied for the most interceptions. Otherwise, they would have had a triple crown. Never done before in the NFL.
They're the team that didn't pass the eye test with stack W's.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
That's the difference.
if we're talking about last year, the NFL kind of screwed them. They didn't get no bye week. They played on.
We're talking about this year, anyways. Go ahead.
This year, I could rant on that for forever. What was I saying?
If you looked at it last year with
So
stats,
let me ask you this: last year, when everyone asked about the Steelers, like when we were leading in all those categories, they said, "Well, what quarterbacks are you playing? You played against Joe Burrow, rookie. You played against Gary, what's his name from the Cowboys backup, who's not there no more. You weren't playing quality QBs.
what about Patrick Mahomes?
So, but that's what I'm asking though. So, like last year, we played against a lot of good QBs, but it didn't matter about the good ones. People kept asking, "Well, you're playing a lot of the worst. You're playing a lot of rookies. You're playing Baker Mayfield. He sucks. We swept Lamar Jackson, but no one's going to talk about
I would say,
But I'm just
Yeah.
Where
bringing
is
it up.
Lamar Jackson? Is he hurt?
He's hurt, and then he had COVID,
Okay.
or I think his backup had COVID. I don't know, but anyway. So let me just ask you this. I don't personally believe this because I'm just asking it because it was asked last year. Do you think that and this is why I need to see you guys win the final two games,
right.
because you will hold up against two good quality quarterbacks.
It doesn't matter. Go
But
ahead.
what I'm saying though is, do you worry at any point in time that, okay, the Washington football team's quarterback ain't it, beat him twice. Daniel Jones, garbage, beat him twice. Does that worry you to any degree? Because everyone kept saying like, no, Baker Mayfield, you guys played him twice. That's why your numbers are good.
I will say this about the Cowboys, and if I'm a Cowboys fan, that we talk about the NFL. When just not even the Cowboys. When you play in an inferior conference or division, it does fuck with you when it comes to playing with the big boys.
What bugs me is that no one.
Hold up. It could be true. Not saying it's true, but you have to have some credence to that. Ask Notre Dame when they fucking go up against an Alabama.
Right.
Ask LeBron James when he has to come and play in the Western Conference. You know, ask any Eastern Conference team when they have to come and play the big boys in the West. You know, there is some credence to that, and we'll find out.
That's part of the reason why,
We'll find out.
for the longest time, I was a hater of Rodgers, is because it's not like the Vikings were always an outstanding offense. It's not
Or
like
the
the Bears or the Patriots.
But the Patriots
But people
prove that shit
people-
by steamrolling through other teams.
people will bring that up with the Patriots. They'll say, well, the Patriots only ever played the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. They were all terrible.
Exactly.
No one ever brought it up with the Packers and the Vikings and the Rodgers with the rest of the other teams. I'm not saying I believe that those quarterbacks are bad heck. I'm just asking you,
Heck,
does
he's quiet. He went
yeah,
quiet.
he went to the
No,
phone.
yeah.
I'm gonna get this stuff.
No,
Does it worry you that at times you're not playing some of the best quarterbacks or you're playing rookies?
I don't think so, because here's kind of the analogy that I'll give to you is, at the end of the day, a lot of what the core is for this Cowboys team has been there, and they've gotten their L's. They've faced their wounds. They've been there and haven't panned out, but they've still been in the race. You know what I mean? Right now, you have talent across the board, and I think that really shows even in this stretch that we didn't play well, right? Before this game, you had your backups doing well. You know, a lot of players on this team, and no one's really talking about it.
To the Dallas Cowboys podcast, everybody.
No. The depth of this team, I think, is better than a lot of other teams, because we've seen Tampa without their stars. And what are they? They're okay, they can be had. Green Bay is they started to suffer some key injuries.
So you're talking about depth now.
Well, I'm talking about depth. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we can talk about did they go up against their good quarterbacks or this and that. They went up who they had to go up against.
Right.
They had some ugly games.
That's what I
they
said
had
last
some
year,
ugly
and
wins,
no
right?
one was having it.
No, and I agree. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your division, if you have an inferior division, right? Just how we've talked about, if you're a great team and you have an inferior opponent, you put them away.
Yeah.
You put them away.
Yeah. So
Real
that's
quick,
that's the angle
though.
he's talking about.
Yeah, so in the division, they've outscored this year, their division, 140 points to 40 points on average. They're demolishing their division. And that's the first goal, is win your division.
Right.
And in an inferior division, they've owned it. They've gone out there and beat them.
So this is the angle he's more so getting at. You beat your inferior division opponent, say 200-0. They
Right.
passed the eye test. They passed the eye test, which
Now, how do they go up against
no
good?
no, that's not what I'm saying. Are they prepping you for the team that's actually going to give you a run for the money?
We don't know that yet.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't
And that's
know
what
that
I'm trying
yet.
to tell Joe. That's why you see a Notre Dame get their ass whooped whenever they, they're beating the inferior opponent
Right.
that they play, but when they
Right.
go up against the big dog Alabama, they're nowhere to be found.
Right.
But I bet you if Notre Dame was in an actual conference, say the SEC or something
Right.
like that, it's like, okay, so I'm playing Georgia, I'm playing Auburn, I'm playing
Right.
X, Y, and Z. I might be losing, but I'm getting to know what it is to like play up against
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah.
quality team. It's not a shot at like, oh, well, you're only winning because you're beating this team. It's like with the Warriors, like with the Warriors. It's I want to play the fucking best because I want to see what it
Right.
what it's gonna. I like playing in the Western Conference because playing in the Eastern Conference is like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna stack wins. We're gonna look good. We're gonna go blow teams out. But when I gotta go travel and play against the Suns or against the Lakers or against a good Western Conference team, it's like, those Eastern Conference teams didn't prep me for the fucking
Yeah.
those teams.
I could either
gotta
struggle,
play.
or if we're that team, we'll do what we
And
do.
that's the thing about the Patriots, where look, they got so much success by playing in an inferior conference that they fucking got a free bye week.
Yeah.
But the only difference is they actually back that shit up.
Yeah. They
they-
were that team.
They would beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos. They would beat the Ravens. This is why
They would beat Aaron Rodgers in. Well, no, he only has one ring.
what I was saying though is this is part of the reason why I don't buy Mahomes, because if you look at the Steelers dynasties that they could have had that they didn't because they had to go through Tom Brady and the Patriots, Mahomes would be nothing if he had to face Tom Brady every year in the playoffs.
And that's
If
what-
he had to face Ray Lewis and the Ravens, if he had to face Peyton Manning,
And
he
just
hasn't
the
faced
Patriots.
anybody.
Just the Patriots.
But I'm just saying he hasn't faced anybody on any of those caliber teams at all.
It's to me, the Patriots, it's the gold standard of the fucking NFL. That was the team you had to go through. And if you won a title, it's like the fucking Warriors. Like, that was the team, right?
Yeah.
That was the team. And then
So
they
the Cavs beat them.
No, but-
That's it meant more to the Cavs.
Right, but like when after their dynasty, it's like boom. And say the team that the Warriors would always beat, say the Rockets, right? The Rockets could not get past the Warriors, right?
Right.
Steelers could not get past the fucking
Patriots.
But say, all right, the Warriors became nothing, which they did for a bit because people got
Right.
hurt, and then the Rockets won the title. Yeah, you got the fucking title,
But
but
that's because
you didn't go through the fucking
You
Bowser.
didn't go through the
It's-
standard.
Daddy
Yeah,
wasn't-
You didn't go through the
Yeah.
standard.
Daddy wasn't home when you came and robbed it.
Exactly, and that's I agree with the Patriot with the Chiefs analogy to where, yeah, if the Patriots are not around, yeah, you won the fucking title, but you didn't beat Daddy.
And
Yeah.
even then, when he faced against Tampa last year against Tom Brady,
He lost.
he lost. And not only did he lose, what happened? They got their ass kicked.
They got punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, and that's why I think that's why we love the NFL so much, so too, because you look at like the Giants team, Tom Brady still looks back on those and
Dude.
was like, those were the worst points of my life.
he doesn't care about any of the rings he's
Yeah,
won.
he cares about the ones he didn't win, and the Giants to beat him twice was one of those things where I will not live that down.
Yeah, I know.
And Belichick too is like, wow, they found a way to beat us. And technically Super Bowl, no matter where it was, that was the thing is this is our house.
Right.
The Super Bowl is our house. And so it's hard to see that with the NFC. Now,
It's hard to say
by
both
your
sides.
analogy, Smurf, the NFC is like the Western Conference of the NBA, right? It's harder to go through somebody, right? Even though the Patriots are that gold standard, I don't
This
think.
year?
But in general,
it
the
is in general.
AFC hasn't really. During the Patriots run, that was the Eastern Conference that we've seen. Who was the team to battle test the Patriots in the AFC?
Ravens.
Ravens early on, and what happened? They lost it.
Ravens throughout the 2010s, throughout the 08s.
Yeah,
Steelers.
Ravens with
Peyton-
Okay, we're talking about one team, right?
Indianapolis.
But in the
are
NFC,
you saying?
what I'm saying is just it's harder to be a dynasty in the NFC than it is in the AFC. Is what I'm saying.
I would,
Like what the Warriors did is more impressive than if the Nets go off and become a dynasty. You see what I'm saying? Like level of difficulty.
I would disagree because throughout their dynasty,
I'm just confused at what you're saying.
I think he's saying that like it's easier to get to the Super Bowl through the AFC side for the Patriots.
Any
because-
team, like if you're that team in the AFC,
But he's
like
saying
the
that the
Chiefs,
AFC isn't as good as the NFC. Throughout the
it's not
Patriots
no
dynasty.
level of difficulty for the
I
road.
think the level of difficulty is harder to get through on the AFC.
I think so.
I
On
would
the
agree.
NFC.
Why
Like-
in the NFC? The NFC has had probably more.
Dog, there's been like
There's more
Aside-
teams that
aside
would
from
get there. There was never a team to beat in the NFC.
That's what I'm
Year in and
saying.
year out.
That's what I'm saying. It's harder to create a dynasty in the NFC because it is more competitive than in the AFC than what it was.
see
Because who was it in the AFC?
The reason why I'd push back is because you'd have obviously we're talking about the Patriots.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying now. Because
I would say the top 5 teams were on the AFC side. Because if you won through the AFC, you were going to mollywop whoever's on the NFC side.
I guess you're a little confused. Do you get what I'm saying?
you're saying that the NFC is more of the Western Conference because you never know who's going to come out of the Western Conference.
Yes.
Every team
But
is
this is
good.
pre-Warriors?
Yeah, but that what I'm saying is so what the Warriors did in creating that dynasty and going on that run was more impressive, right, to me than Miami in their run. Do you get what I'm saying?
Because there was nobody in the East.
Yeah, because it was harder. It's harder to win in the West.
The reason why I would disagree with you is because throughout that whole time period that the Patriots had their dynasty, the top 5 best teams in the NFL were on the AFC side. Because you always had to worry about the Ravens.
So I'll give you 2000 to 2010. So what about 2010 to like 2017?
So you still always had to worry about Peyton Manning. From 2010 up until the Lamar Jackson era started, you had to worry about the Ravens. They were always a contender. Their defense was always one or within the top 3. Other team you have to worry about, obviously I'm going to say the Steelers.
The
Just
Steelers.
because throughout the Killer Bee era, which was a 4-year period, they had the best offense that some of the NFL numbers I've ever
And the
seen.
Broncos.
And Peyton Manning. So
Okay,
whether
so-
he's on Indy, which then when he leaves Indy, you have the Andrew Luck Colts. So you have the Broncos, the Colts, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Patriots. I would put any of those teams over anybody else that was in the NFC.
Okay.
So now let's analyze it. Now let's go to the NFC.
Wait, real quick on that. What he has to say. But then also, right, you're talking about a Patriots team who we just finished talking about inferior opponents. A lot of those times they had the number 1 seed, right?
Okay.
So you had to travel to their house, and they were way better at home
That's fair.
than anybody on the field. So, and if you're talking about 2 teams, maybe 3 throughout that span, you're playing the same team, right? So you, with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady at that time, they'll figure your ass out.
Right. But what I'm saying is that they would either have to go through 2 of the best offenses in the NFL, which was the Broncos when Peyton Manning had it, and the Steelers also had the offense during the era as well. You had to beat the best offenses and had to beat the best defenses in the NFL.
But also, who was in that position more than those other teams?
Than the Patriots?
No. That's what I'm saying is where the Patriots. I'm talking about playoff position, being in those moments in playoffs. Who was there the most? It was the Patriots. They were there
Right.
more consistent.
But the thing that I would also throw at you as well is that they would beat the teams that they had to. They would beat anybody. It didn't matter. Like they would lose to the Dolphins once a year for some reason. Dolphins have their number. They win 1 out of 2. What I'm
But they
saying,
weren't a threat.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is
Yeah, I'm
that
talking about the threats.
they would
right?
still beat the threats.
No,
The
they were
Patriots?
never-
Yeah.
they were never.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
But in the
What I'm
NFC,
saying-
you don't have that.
What I'm saying though is I think the threats on the AFC side,
Hey, don't forget the
Were-
2016 Raiders were a threat.
Yeah. You know what I'm
the
saying?
AFC side had like you could argue the whole NFC side was equally talented and good, but I would say like there's 3 or 4 teams at any point in time on the AFC side that the Patriots would have to defeat to get to the Super Bowl, whereas you're playing 7 and 7, you're playing 8 and 8 teams, you're playing no one ever on the it was obviously probably Green Bay, but other than Green Bay, I don't think
So
there's
let's assess the NFC. So in the NFC, you had runs by Green Bay, the Saints, the
Seattle.
49ers,
Well, hold on.
the Seahawks.
the Saints when
The
they were
Cardinals?
cheating or when they weren't.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter
What do
because
you mean that when they weren't cheating? They went to the Super Bowl.
and they cheated.
They went to the Super Bowl
And they cheated.
and they got cheated by the Steelers because they said that Sean Alexander didn't cross the goal line. But
Nobody's talking about that. And they got re-cheated out of the Super Bowl in the playoffs
Hey,
against Minnesota.
That's karma. Okay.
And-
But what I'm saying,
when did they cheat?
the whole bounty gate, you didn't know about that?
The Seahawks?
No.
The defensive player, yeah,
The
where they were
Saints.
paying players to.
They were paying
hurt
players to
other-
hurt other teams.
Oh, I ain't nothing wrong with that. It just got. That's the whole fucking Astros hitting the trash can shit.
So
Wait, what?
hold on, I got a whole.
That like
I can
people
talk-
do that, but it's like that. It's just something that got put. In the
No.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What is fact? They got busted doing something that's against the rules the year they won the Super Bowl. What's happened since then? They're either garbage or they're good. They're not. They were never really a big threat.
The Seahawks.
No, the Seahawks were a threat. I'll give the
What are
Seahawks
you
and the
talking
Packers.
about, the Saints
Yes, you said the Saints, and that's when I said they cheated.
with that defensive coordinator. What's his name?
Greg something.
Greg Roman,
No,
No,
that's the offensive
Greg-
coordinator for the Ravens.
Greg Rosenthal,
Greg.
No.
Greg
You get it, but
Greg Basie or no Greg
No.
Greg Sperano, no
He was
Greg
with the Jets last year, wasn't he? And
Yeah.
he was with the Jets at one point in time.
Greg
They lost because what they did against the Raiders.
Yeah.
They did like an all-out
Greg
blitz.
Williams.
Greg Williams.
Is that Williams?
No, yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
Um,
you had runs by the Saints. You
Don't
had
count their runs
Huh?
because they were cheating.
Okay, well, just
They
okay,
had- Fucking, they won playoff games.
yeah, well, yeah, hey, okay, let's just
Okay, so and also the Chiefs were good on the AFC. Don't forget that, and the Chargers with Phillip Rivers.
Okay, that's further fueling my argument, but okay.
Okay, so you had the Saints, you had all 4 except for the Rams up until now, all 4 teams in the AFC West and the NFC West. The Cardinals.
The Cardinals with Bruce Arians as their head coach.
Kurt Warner.
yeah.
Well, that was in 2009. He
When
retired.
you guys lost to him in the Super Bowl.
We beat them in the Super Bowl. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
they beat-
I mean, beat you guys in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
because James Harrison caught
Pick
up.
6. There's no conspiracy there, buddy. This is not the Immaculate Reception. That's
There was, I didn't say there was a conspiracy.
I'm just saying the way you
The
said it.
Immaculate Deception, yeah, that
No,
ball hit the ground.
no.
Called
Anyway,
John Madden.
okay.
Another Super Bowl.
Okay,
Um,
so continue. So you're gonna say the Saints,
Saints.
We're at like 6 teams.
Panthers.
Panthers. They were good 1 year.
Yeah, they were good one year.
No, they were
Yes.
not good 1 year.
They were good 1 year.
No, they weren't.
That was the MVP year, and after that, they
They
weren't
had a
good.
good defense for like a solid like.
Greg,
40
I mean
years.
not
And
Greg.
no, one.
Joe.
Hold on. After the Super Bowl, they didn't have a good defense because they lost what's his name, and then Luke Kuechly started to age and he started to retire.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm talking about teams that people said, all right, this team could win the Super Bowl.
But what
Packers?
the pushback I have on some of the teams that you're bringing up, though, the Saints, yes, they went to the Super Bowl, but what
They
happened?
won one.
Okay,
They won.
But what was their record the 2 to 3 years after that? They
They've
were
always
okay,
been good
no,
with
they had 3 wins like
all right.
2 years. In
Hold
a row.
on. Listen to me, Joe. I don't think you're okay. What I'm saying is, in the AFC, it's a lot easier to
I
have
just want to finish the teams in the NFC.
Yeah, like
I get what you're saying, and I'm telling you that I don't agree.
yeah, finish the teams.
Because I'm going somewhere. So
Yeah,
NFC,
yeah.
you had the Saints, Seahawks, 49ers,
Green Bay,
Green Bay, Cardinals,
Eagles. You had those early Super Bowl runs by the Eagles.
Well,
Vikings.
hold on. What
Eagles,
What
Vikings.
what period of time? I thought we were talking about 2010 and up.
2000s and up. The
Okay,
years
what-
of the Patriots.
Well, okay, what period do you want?
We'll do 2000 and up.
Okay,
But-
Vikings.
Okay,
Vikings.
We're at 7 teams right now.
but here's my pushback to what you guys are saying.
hang on.
Yeah.
Who else in the NFC North?
Uh,
Not really Lions.
Not the Bears and not the Lions.
Bears
No.
went to a Super Bowl. But okay, we'll exclude the Bears. Falcons.
That was 1 year.
Okay. And then that's it, right? And then the East, Eagles has been the class of that division, and
We
then the
said the
Cowboys. The Cowboys, Eagles, and the Cowboys.
Okay, but here's my pushback to you.
Okay, so now hang on.
Hold on, but let me just
hold on,
rebuttal.
let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Can I
Sean.
just rebuttal?
Yeah.
You're bringing up teams. It's just
I'm
be
just
quick.
bringing them out. I'm not making a case. I'm just bringing them out.
Yeah,
All
let him
I'm
finish.
saying-
Let him finish. I think
Okay,
it's
go
better
ahead.
if he finishes.
Throughout the AFC, you had longer stretches in which teams were good. Okay? So the Saints, yes, they won a Super Bowl against the Colts, but they were garbage for 2 years after that. And then you guys can look this up. That whole division had a different winner every year. What was the record of those winners? 8-8 or within that ballpark. That's not competing. That's
Okay.
not good.
Okay.
So you need to get rid of the Panthers won the division and they had a two digit.
They went almost undefeated.
That's
So-
what I was gonna
so
say.
now let me tell
That
you.
was 1 year. The rest
now
of the
let
years
me
were
tell you.
8-8 or 9-7.
This is why it's Western Conference. So in the Western Conference and the NBA, you had the Lakers, you had the Spurs, you had the Warriors, you had the Thunder.
And those are all top tier teams. Is that what you're
You
saying?
had the Thunder. Yeah, you had the Thunder.
That's what I'm saying. The AFC was.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna get to
Let-
the
let-
let
conference.
him-
Why?
let him.
Okay. You had the Thunder. You had who else went to the finals? I can't remember. But at some point you had the Jazz, the Grizzlies.
Even Portland.
No, in the East.
Even
in
Portland.
the East, it was only LeBron James led teams. Yeah, you had your Pistons, and yeah, you had your Celtics.
What you're
That
saying
was
is
it.
he didn't have competition. On the one side, he had easy
That's why I'm
competition.
saying that the NFC, now I could see it was more of the Western Conference because you had multiple teams on the
Mhm.
Western Conference beating up at each other. As where in the AFC, yes, I trust me, the Patriots are the fucking gold
Yes.
standard.
Get them out of the argument. What I'm saying is that the Patriots were one.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I'm
the
saying
NFL.
at any point in time, 2, 3, 4 were the Ravens, a Peyton Manning team, the Steelers, or any other team that you want to bring up. The Chiefs were always getting double digit wins.
Yes, you're making our point
What-
for us.
But
though.
I'm saying the top 4 teams are on this side. The rest of the NFC teams, except for the Seahawks.
Okay, you're making our point. Like, see what you're saying? Like, you're exactly what you're saying. You're making our point for us.
I don't think
Is-
that any of the teams on the NFC side were good, though.
No, okay.
And that's what you
but
guys
the
are trying to say is
that's
that-
not what we're talking about. We're not comparing whether the strength of this NFC team is better than the greats of the AFC. That's not what we're talking about. What we're saying
You're saying
is
it's harder to win because the
we're
quality
saying
teams
is
are
more
better.
teams beat up on each other in the NFC than having a road in the AFC. You have more teams to worry about in the NFC.
I understand that, but I disagree. Is all I'm saying. There's a reason why none of these.
It's okay if the AFC wins the Super Bowl every fucking year.
Okay.
I don't like.
I'm not
But
talking
what I'm
about
saying is it. As far as NFC, you can't. You're talking still about 3 or 4 teams. Whereas in the NFC, we just named 8 teams because you can't create that in
But
the NFC anymore.
At their best, none of those teams were ever considered they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, and I see that point as well. So what I'm looking at it is the NFC had better teams as a whole, but not long-standing runs.
Right,
As
right,
where in the
right.
AFC, you had long-standing runs, but fewer teams.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
But I think it's harder to get through the better teams. Is all I'm saying. And because the problem I have is you win the
I
Super Bowl.
agree with you though.
But what I'm saying is you win, except for the Seahawks. You win the Super Bowl, and the next year you go 8-8. That's Super Bowl hangover. I get that.
well, they
What
went
do
to
you do-
Usually when you
they
lose
went
the
to
Super
2.
Bowl, you have a shitty ass year next year.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Unless
Panthers.
But they went to the
Panthers
Super
were
Bowl
fifth-
twice in 3 years though.
Panthers. I'm not. Seahawks are the exception of what I'm saying. Seahawks were good. Seahawks are quality, very quality. Panthers went to the Super Bowl and they finished 8-8 every other year after that. The Falcons went to the Super Bowl. They finished 8 or less every year after that.
Yeah,
the Saints.
Usually every team that loses a Super Bowl is whacked the next year. Just look at the Rams as well.
But we could say the same thing about the Ravens, though, too. When they won the Super Bowl, then what?
They were still competing.
But
They were getting to AFC championships.
But we're saying at the end of the day, the gold standard was the Patriots, regardless of AFC or NFC. They were just that standard. This is the team that you got to beat.
But
that's why if you beat them in the regular season, it's your type of Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's why that the Cowboys Patriots game was a good game to me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Because
you beat Bill
you're
Belichick.
going up against a coach where I don't care if I got scrubs on my team. I'm gonna make you beat me.
He's gonna expose you.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna make you beat my team.
And by the way, if we're counting since 2000, we gotta count the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? The early 2000s.
Is it snowing?
Tampa Bay. No, Tampa Bay though too. If we're talking about early 2000s till now.
John Gruden.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like, all I'm saying is that it's harder to create a dynasty in the NFC. That's why when you
it's harder to create a dynasty in the NFL.
Well, in the NFL, so that's why what the Patriots did was just so mesmerizing. But what I'm trying to what I'm trying to compare it to is that you never knew, even with those teams, you're talking about 3 or 4, like these 4 are going regardless. One of these 4 is gonna go regardless. But in the NFC is like, I don't know who can go. Who can go?
I always felt like that's because the competition wasn't as good, and there's a reason why Seattle was so dominant for so long.
No.
The competition was never as good on the NFC
No,
side.
I think
what year of their run? The
Seahawks?
Russell Wilson or the Matt Hasselbeck?
The Matt Hasselbeck one, if I remember that year correctly, they kind of lucked into the Super Bowl. Like they had a not so good record.
Marshawn Lynch.
With Marshall Falk, not Marshall Falk, with Sean Alexander, he won MVP.
But I don't think they had a good record.
I'm pretty sure they won more than 10 games.
I don't know. I might be thinking of a different year.
But
with the Russell Wilson Seahawks, there's a reason why the Legion of Boom was so dominant. There's a reason why they were so dominant as a whole. Because I don't think that the competition on the NFC side is anywhere near what the AFC side had.
Now, do you think that's flipping?
Yes. Oh yeah. Because I told you earlier.
The Patriots itself.
So I told him earlier that if you look at the top 5 teams in the NFL, the top 4 are on the NFC side. So I would agree. Yeah, it's flipping.
Which ones?
The AFC.
I said no. And which ones? What?
Which are the top 4 teams?
It can go in any order because I can't make an
order.
argument for any one of the teams over the other one.
Yeah. So what is it?
So I'm gonna say Cowboys 1. I'm gonna say Packers 2. I'm gonna say Buccaneers and then the Rams.
To me, Buccaneers is an AFC team. I know they're in the NFC, but it's got AFC ties. But go ahead.
I mean, any team.
And
then the Chiefs. The 5th would be the Chiefs. So I got Cowboys, Packers, Buccaneers, Rams, Chiefs.
Where's the Patriots? Hold
on though, and that's where I'm looking at the AFC side. I don't look at any of the teams on the AFC.
What if Derrick Henry was healthy?
He plays against garbage defenses every year. He's not as good as everyone says he is.
I mean, I agree with that. Catch the fucking ball and play on 3rd down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they're super predictable. There's a reason
Henry
why.
Is that dude?
But okay,
he's a running back at the end of the day.
I'm not going to dispute that. I love the running back position.
He's a running back at the end of the day. What do you got to do? You got to run the ball.
Hey,
this is the TJ. This is the TJ Watt, Micah Parsons. Yes, TJ Watt. Yeah.
Yeah, he rushes the passer.
But I have another fucking running back, like someone who could catch the fucking ball and run and split out wide and run some fucking routes. That's something he doesn't do.
TJ Watt covers the running back?
No, Derrick Henry doesn't do.
Okay, yeah. But so what I'm saying,
he's a master of one, but
he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah,
he's a jack. No, he's not. He's a never mind. So I don't look at
he's a jack of one trade.
Yeah, I don't look at any of the teams, and even though I put the Chiefs at 5, I don't think they're competing with any of the other teams on the NFC side. I don't. You guys, how did you guys play against them?
Who?
Chiefs.
So they only had 2 good drives on us, and that was it.
Did you win though?
No, we lost.
But I would still, if I had to bet money, I would still say the Cowboys would win, even though they already lost.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
because we held them under 20, They only had the 2 good drives, and that was it. We more lost that game than they won that game.
That's been their whole story.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever beaten anybody
I
except
don't
for
know, from what I
they
seen
beat
when they
the.
play the Raiders.
I don't know what happened. to you
Yeah,
guys.
but
You
the
guys
Raiders
always play
just
them
like,
close.
come on now. Everybody gave up after like Henry Ruggs, blood. Everybody's
Yeah.
just like, all right.
Why couldn't you guys?
I'm gonna head out.
The Steelers.
Hey, I'm gonna get my tape ready.
I don't see.
Yo, TSR Media, I'm gonna have to hit y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, any free agents out there, if you want to make a sick ass edit or some shit, hit up TSR Idiot or TSR Media
If you wanna make a
at
few videos-
TSR.didit.
You want to pull what's his name, the safety, and make a video.
Yeah, dopest in the game. I'm telling y'all. Hey, what else you got for us, Smurf? I think that's it on that NFL talk. I mean, we gotta just see it through.
I got a little something off the field. You had I don't know if it's off the field or on the field, but you had a conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah.
So let me. So I have a theory, okay, and there's not any substantial
Evidence.
evidence to back it up, but I just
Hey,
noticed.
feelings, no facts, baby. That's what.
Well,
we
no,
do here.
I have some things that I can pull out, but I look at trends. Okay. Sometimes, if you see a player will talk badly about their current team, shortly after, negative stuff will pop up. I'm gonna look up Deshaun Watson as a perfect example. He tells the Texans, "I want to get traded. I don't want to play here no more. Don't hire no coach. Don't bring me in. Don't ask me about the coach. I don't want to play here."
Yeah.
What happens a couple months later? He starts getting accused.
Allegations.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Look at, I'm going to take it to the MLB. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but there was a situation this past season with some sticky stuff. Pitchers were using sticky stuff to throw the ball. Dodgers brought in Trevor Bauer. Okay. Trevor Bauer was garbage without the sticky stuff. As soon as he can no longer throw with the sticky stuff, he's getting allegations again. He can't play for the rest of the year. Dodgers don't want him. Don't come back to the facility. We don't want you. They can't cut him. But if he gets allegations, maybe the fans won't look at it and say, well, why are we paying this guy? I don't want that guy on my team.
What kind of allegations?
Same as Deshaun. Not massages, but same
Who's
sexual
getting
assault.
allegations?
Trevor Bauer.
Of rape.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's bring it to the Steelers. You look at Antonio Brown. He starts making a fuss, doesn't want to play for the Steelers anymore. Suddenly, he's getting allegations. And then the fan base looks at it, well, we don't want him on our team.
So you're saying the organization
I
is trying to smear the character of the player?
I think the organizations have dirt on some of their star players, and they use it to not necessarily trick the fan base, but to let the fan base think, well, we don't want that guy on our team. I don't want him on my team.
That way, and you bring down their stock.
Yeah. Well, yes, but you find a way to get him off the team without someone saying, why did we trade Antonio Brown for like a 6th-round pick to the Raiders? The guy's going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Why did we trade him? Because he had allegations. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you think about it.
That's kind of tough, though.
And so there's a GM who used to GM for, I believe it was the Marlins. And then once the Marlins got bought out by the Jeter and co., he was let go. On the Pat McAfee show, he said, GMs have dirt on their players, and they will release this dirt if the player, 1, no longer wants to play there and they can't get off the contract, and 2, they'll do that to trick the fan base into thinking, well, I don't want that guy on my team anyway. And this is a GM of baseball. I get that. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen in other professional sports. Now I flip it to you guys. Do you guys potentially think it's possible that teams can tell players, I got dirt on you. You're going to sign that contract or we're going to release it? Because another thing to think about is this goes to NBA. Do you guys know that there's women that hook up with NBA players?
Oh. They hook up with ball
Do
players.
you guys know?
Which women?
There's hold on. There's women that will. Hold on. Let me just.
They got a rollie on. They driving a McLaren or a
Let me just say,
$100,000 car. They get
every
laid.
pro team has guys that are like, I don't know how to describe them, but they're not bouncers, but they just watch players. They keep an eye on them. They're not watching them, keeping an eye on them to keep them safe. They're watching them, keeping an eye on them get dirt, you know? And I'm just saying, like, if they approach this girl, hey, we know you went home with so and so. Do you mind saying this? We'll give you a little paycheck. It's not going to get settled in court. We're going to have everyone sign NDAs. We can't talk about it. And I think that's interesting because in Deshaun Watson's case, he wants the women to be able to speak about what happened, what he allegedly did to them. He wants them to speak, but the women don't want to speak about it. They want to sign NDAs, or at least their lawyer is making them sign NDAs. It's just weird. And I don't know. I kind of think that the conspiracy is, to bring it all together so I can get you guys' opinions, is that I think teams have dirt on their players, and they will use that dirt as leverage to either get them to sign a contract or get them off their team. Thoughts?
So, okay. The thing is, it's hard for me, okay, because devil's advocate. If a player, if they have dirt on a player and they release that player, but prior to that, they've made an investment on a player, right? So there's money tied to this player. So if I smear the character just to get him off my team, whether it be a trade, well, that kind of devalues my stock as well. I'm not getting everything I can out of my investment because now the next team is going to say, hey, we're willing to take on all this stress and all this, but we got to get it for a deal.
It's risk assessment, though, because
Right.
now you got the distraction, the
Yeah.
terrible locker room person.
Yeah,
out of there.
but
And now we
teams,
can be a team.
great teams, and a lot of teams are willing to deal with the distraction if you still put up the numbers.
Okay.
Michael Irvin has been was a distraction.
sure.
You had a Ray Lewis as a distraction. You had a lot. If your potential, if your play is up to that par, they will fight with you. They will pay for anything they got to do because you bring in more on their investment. Now, I can't see, especially a businessman or woman, there are women owners out there. I can't see them trying to devalue and lose money.
But here's the thing. You're losing that money if that player refuses to play for you. In Deshaun Watson's case, I'll never play for the Texans again. You're losing money. You're losing the possibility to make playoffs. You're losing the possibility to have a good team. So
Yeah, but
why not try and get something out of him?
But you're essentially you're not. Like, you are what you are as a team. So if I'm trying to get a good return on my investment, and if I'm the Texans, why would I want to smear his character instead? If I'm willing to not have him play any games, then I'm willing to trade him. And if I can trade him at a high stock, then I'm willing to take that trade. But why am I going to smear his character, devalue his stock, and only get a 5th and a 6th round pick next year for him? And I still got to eat some salary cap money.
Ego. You're an owner. Nobody tells you no. This guy just did. This guy just told a billionaire owner who has all the money in the world, no. Do you think anybody else tells him no?
But see, now that's just okay. So when we're talking about this, now we're just talking about emotion.
Sure.
But I can't speak on that.
Speak on
Like
emotion.
I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know that there's some I can come back at you as a retort and say there's some billionaires that aren't egotistical,
Sure.
that are willing to give away as
Absolutely.
much money as they can to help whatever they want to help.
David Tepper.
Yeah, exactly.
He cut a quarterback, paid a
Amar
quarterback.
Cuban.
Sure.
Cuban. So for me to say that as an owner, I don't know the owner. I don't know him personally. But we're just talking about the smearing of the character.
It seems to me as though Deshaun Watson said, I'm never going to play for you again. Texan, and obviously I have no way of knowing this, but this is just my opinion on the way things unfolded. They responded by saying, all right, well, we're not going to protect you no more. All that stuff you were doing, we're not going to hide it from
Well,
you.
that's different. That's different.
Sure. And
That's different
I guess
because
I
at the
should
end of
have
the
phrased
day,
it that way to begin
that's
with
what I'm
also,
saying.
Because I do think teams also, they don't follow you to get dirt, but they also follow you to cover.
And to me, I don't have a problem with that because you make an investment on your car, right? You buy a brand new car. If it costs you $60,000 and it costs you living check to check
yeah.
in order to have this nice ass car. You want to wash it every week. You want to make sure nobody eats in that car. Hey, respect my car. Don't be slamming my doors.
Don't slam my doors.
Right? Exactly.
Don't touch my windows. Get your fingerprints off.
So if I'm paying you over $100 million,
Right.
best believe I just like how some players aren't allowed to go snowboarding or
Right.
ride ATVs or ride
Motorcycles,
motorcycles
yep.
or go golfing.
Pinch
And Tony
Coke,
Romo's,
Olivia Coke.
yeah, anything like that. Because at that point, you signed a contract to where I'm paying you $100 million, and that's just business.
Right.
I hate to say it like that, but that's business. You want this money, you got to follow by my rules, right? Just like you go to work, you got to be here by 7. 7:01, you're late, right? So I got to abide by your rules in order to keep the security of having my job. So if a player is doing dirt, that's his choice.
But what?
And if the owner is willing to cover it up and say, look, this is what I've done for you, and you want to trade in all this shit, I'm trying to build you something. Don't get me wrong, but you can't just leave in the middle of a build. I invested in you first, and then I got to go build around you.
yeah,
Because I think there's 3 things that a team needs: a great GM, a good GM, a good head coach, and a good quarterback. From there, you can build.
right.
A good owner.
And a good owner.
I guess to summarize, like, I just feel like once you can no longer provide your services or you refuse to provide your services, the team either doesn't care about covering your mistakes or they're willing to bring them to surface.
But that's the thing. Did they make that mistake? They're just protecting their investment
Sure.
at the end of the day. You buy insurance, right? Is it the insurance fault that you get into an
I don't
accident?
think a team likes to bring bad attention onto them.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
if it's the player.
But what I'd like to bring up, though, is if you look at the Antonio Brown and Trevor Bauer situations more specifically, you're not trading him. He's so valuable, but he's never going to play for you again.
Let's not get it twisted, bro. Every team is willing to fight if you're worth the money.
That's what I was going to say. How much other drama, and you can ask people at Pittsburgh, they always talk about how Ben used to go to bars and drink a bunch of wiggy
Yeah.
with them. What I'm saying, though, is it possible that teams will not necessarily cover it up anymore and they'll just let this come to the surface? Do you have a problem with that? Is that possible? What do you guys think?
I don't have a problem because at the end of the day, they didn't make them make those decisions.
I think teams, if anything, more cover up than leak.
Yes. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Because
I think there's a few
there's-
cases where they probably did leak it, though, is what I'm trying
No,
to say.
but-
And
Just to-
if it's someone that's leaking it, it's someone who it's an employee who's
Disgruntled employee.
disgruntled, yeah, like a disgruntled,
like,
Yeah.
I think specifically...
or the agent, disgruntled agent or player.
Yeah.
I think specifically the Steelers released a lot of the stuff about AB just to get him off the team. And then to finish up, I think same thing with Trevor Bauer. Once he could no longer provide the service, which was the sticky stuff.
I don't think so
They-
because if you look at the Le'Veon Bell situation, they just simply said, "Okay, go." I don't
Yeah,
think
but that's a
they didn't
running
bring.
back. His
They didn't
shelf
bring
life
no.
was already over.
But at the end of the day, is like everybody
He
is
held no
faced with
value.
a decision and choices in their life, and if that player made those choices and the team was willing to take the risk of covering it up in the first place,
It's just about to die.
then that at the end of the day, you made that decision.
Right.
There's a reason we don't hear shit about Tom Brady in the offseason or going here or
Rodgers.
going there.
Yeah.
Players make their own decisions. But that's all we got for this week's episode of the TSR show. Make sure y'all
Joe
subscribe. And Joe is back. And
Greg ain't here.
we'll see y'all next week with Greg DeLay. Peace.